Southwick officials are responding to privacy concerns over new traffic cameras in town. Leaders say the cameras aren't live yet and policies are still being finalized. Our reporter Addie Patterson joins us in studio tonight with more after speaking with residents in Southwick today about their thoughts. So Addie, what they have to say?
Amanda, people I spoke with were really split on this topic. Some say this could help in situations like stolen cars, but others say they're not comfortable with cameras tracking drivers in the name of public safety.
I think we should fight back, and, elections have consequences. You can vote these people out.
Mixed reaction in Southwick after the town voted months ago in open session to accept a public safety grant that includes traffic camera technology. Police Chief Rhett Banish says Southwick received just under $30,000 in federal funding, enough to pay for the system for 5 years. He says it's a Motorola system and that the information would stay inside a closed network. Town officials say if it moves forward, it would be used for law enforcement, like helping find stolen vehicles or supporting investigations.
I think in the right situations, there's definitely benefits to it. If someone lost their car or got stolen, and there's the traceability there of it.
Officials say the cameras would likely go up on main roads in and out of town, but won't be installed until the select board signs off on a final policy. Western Mass News spoke with local residents in Southwick Friday who tells us they're against this technology and believe it could end up being used for the wrong reasons.
We've seen across the country that these cameras are being used against people and weaponized against citizens, and that's not right.
Others say if there are clear rules and real oversight in place, the technology could be a plus.
If the technology is used the right way, there's definitely ways that can help people out. If they use it for the right things, I think it's an added bonus for helping people out.
The select board meets Monday night, and this issue is expected to come up. The police chief and a sergeant are both planning to be there, and residents will have a chance to ask questions and weigh in on this technology. Reporting in studio, Addie Patterson, Western.